The phone call came at 3:04 a.m. I've always hated the sound of a ringing phone in the dead of night. That sharp, intrusive noise that never brings good news. My heart hammered against my ribs as I fumbled for the receiver. "Mrs. Sterling, this is County General Hospital. Your son David has been in a car accident. You need to come immediately." The floor seemed to drop away beneath me. At 64, I thought I'd known loss after my husband Peter passed 5 years ago. But this was a different kind of terror. David, my only child, my brilliant, smiling boy, couldn't be hurt. The world stopped making sense. If you've ever felt your world shatter in an instant, if you've ever faced that midnight call that changes everything, you understand this pain. You're not alone. Subscribe to this channel, stay with me, and let's navigate these hard truths together. I drove to the hospital in a daze, still in my nightgown and robe, my hair a wild mess. The fluorescent lights of the emergency room glared down on me as I gave my name at the desk. A doctor with a grim face led me to a small, sterile room. The words he said next will haunt me forever. "Massive internal injuries. We did everything we could. He was gone before he arrived. Gone. My David was gone." The air left my lungs. I don't know how long I sat there, numb, before the practicalities began to sink in. Paperwork, decisions, a nightmare. It was nearly 10 a.m. when Chloe, David's wife of 8 years, finally swept into the waiting room. She wore large designer sunglasses, her blonde hair perfectly smooth, her manicured fingers tapping on her phone. "The traffic was a nightmare," she said, not looking at me, "and I had to find someone to watch Noah. I had already called Noah's school, spoken to his teacher, and arranged for him to stay with his best friend's family after school." The fact that Chloe hadn't thought to do this, that our 8-year-old grandson was an afterthought, was sadly typical. "David is gone," I told her, watching her closely. Her red lips formed a perfect O of surprise. A hand fluttered to her throat. It might have looked genuine if I hadn't spent years watching my daughter-in-law's performances. "But he was fine last night," she said, her voice catching in a practiced way. "We had dinner. He was working late in his home office. I went to bed early. I didn't even say goodnight." For a split second, I saw something real flash in her eyes. Maybe, but it was quickly replaced by a cool, calculating look I knew all too well as the day wore on. I watched her take hushed calls, stepping away whenever a nurse approached about funeral arrangements. When asked about David's remains, she deferred to me with a detached wave. "You know what he would have wanted better than I do," she said. That evening, as we waited for David's body to be released, Mark Evans arrived, David's best friend since college and his lawyer. His grief was raw and real, his eyes red-rimmed as he pulled me into a tight hug. "I can't believe it, Maggie," he whispered. "We just had coffee on Tuesday." He turned to Chloe, offering condolences that she accepted with a somber, professional nod. "We'll need to meet soon," Mark said, his tone shifting to businesslike. "There are matters in David's will that need immediate attention." Chloe straightened up, dabbing at dry eyes behind her sunglasses. "Of course, let's do it tomorrow. I want to get things settled quickly for Noah's sake." The mention of my grandson cut through my grief. Noah, sweet, sensitive Noah, who had just lost his father, and whose mother was already talking about settling things. "Noah should be told in person," I said firmly. "I'll come with you to get him." "That's not necessary," Chloe replied a little too quickly. "I can handle my own son." The emphasis on "my" was deliberate. It was a familiar dance, Chloe, asserting control when it suited her, while the actual parenting often fell to David, and increasingly, to me. "He adores you," Chloe added, her tone softening artificially. "He'll need his grandmother more than ever now." The manipulation was transparent. After 35 years as a high school English teacher, I'd graded enough bad acting to recognize a performance. As we left the hospital, I saw Chloe check her reflection in a glass door, smoothing her hair before making another call. In that unguarded moment, her face showed no grief, only cool assessment. Like a chess player plotting her next move, my heart broke all over again. Not only had I lost my son, but my grandson was in the hands of a woman who saw his father's death as an inconvenience. What I didn't know then was that David had seen this coming. He had taken steps to protect Noah and me from the woman he'd finally recognized as a threat. But that night, alone in my quiet house, I could only clutch a photo of David as a boy and wonder how I would find the strength to go on. For Noah, I told myself, I have to be strong for Noah. The funeral was a study in contrasts. I've been to enough services to recognize real grief. It looks different on everyone, but it's always authentic. Chloe, in a flawless black designer dress, offered a masterclass in performance. Her makeup was subtle and perfect, her eyes remaining dry behind her tear-proof mascara. She leaned against me at carefully timed intervals, murmuring, "He would have loved this turnout." But I could feel how lightly she rested, ready to straighten up the moment someone important approached up. My attention was on Noah, seated beside me, his small body shaking with silent sobs. His grief was raw and real. "Is Daddy really in that box?" he whispered during a lull. "His body is, sweetheart," I said gently, "but the part that made him Daddy, his love, his spirit that's still with you, always." He nodded, understanding. "I can still feel him sometimes." "I believe you can," I said. Chloe leaned across me. "Noah, sit up straight. People are watching." I felt his little shoulders stiffen under my arm. Her concern with appearances, rather than his heartbreak, was exactly why David had been bringing Noah to stay with me more often over the past year. After the service, person after person approached with stories about David's kindness, his integrity. It was a bittersweet balm. Throughout the reception, I noticed Chloe in intense whispered conversations with a tall, expensively dressed man I didn't recognize. When I approached, she introduced him smoothly. "Maggie, this is Charles Montague, one of David's business partners." Charles offered a brief, impersonal handshake. "My condolences." David was a remarkable man. Something in his tone felt false, and the way Chloe's hand brushed his arm suggested a familiarity beyond business. By evening, exhaustion had overwhelmed us all. Noah fell asleep on a couch in the funeral home's family room. As I covered him with his little suit jacket, Mark approached me. "Maggie, can we speak privately?" He led me to a quiet corner. David left explicit instructions. "I can't go into details yet, but he asked me to tell you one thing immediately. Trust your instincts about Noah." I glanced at my sleeping grandson, then at Chloe, who was checking her lipstick in a compact mirror. "Yes," I said slowly. "I understand." "Good," Mark said. "We'll meet tomorrow about the will. But David wanted you to know, arrangements have been made for both of you." Before I could ask more, Chloe glided over. "Mark, I hope we can resolve everything quickly. I'm thinking of taking Noah away for a healing trip soon." "A healing trip?" My stomach tightened. "Of course," Mark replied neutrally. "My office tomorrow at 2. As I bundled the sleeping Noah into my car, Chloe sighed, scrolling through her phone. 17 missed calls, so many arrangements. Her face was composed, devoid of the puffy eyes and deep exhaustion that grief had carved into me. "What arrangements?" I asked carefully. "Life goes on, Maggie," she said, not looking up. "Bills, accounts, notifications. David handled everything. Now it's all on me. Not on us. Not, we'll figure it out together for Noah." The solitary me said everything. She asked if I could keep Noah overnight to give her space to process. As I drove away, a strange foreboding mixed with a sense of purpose. "We're going to be okay, Noah," I whispered to his sleeping form. I didn't know how true, or how hard, that would be. The meeting in Mark's office the next day was explosive. Chloe's composure shattered as Mark read the will. "David left you the beach house in Carmel, his investment portfolio with Oakwood Partners, and a life insurance policy of $400,000, Mark stated. Chloe's face cycled from smug to confused to outraged. "That's it," she snapped. "The family home at 2815 Willow Lane, both vehicles, and his liquid assets are bequeathed to his mother, Margaret Sterling," Mark continued. "That's impossible," Chloe interrupted, her nails digging into the leather chair. "We bought that house together." Mark slid a document across the desk. "The deed shows it was in David's name only, purchased before your marriage. It was never joint property." I kept my face neutral, though I was stunned. David had never mentioned this. "What about Noah's college fund?" Chloe demanded. "Mr. Sterling established a trust for Noah's education." "You are not the trustee," Mark said. "Then who is?" Chloe hissed. Mark glanced at me. "Margaret is the trustee of all funds related to Noah's care and education." The room went silent. I could almost hear the calculations worry behind Chloe's eyes. "This makes no sense," she said, her voice modulating to wounded confusion. "David and I discussed our estate. This is nothing like what we agreed. The will was updated 4 months ago," Mark said. "Everything is legal and witnessed." 4 months ago. That coincided with a time David had seemed troubled, asking me to take Noah for extra weekends. "There must be some mistake," Chloe said, turning to me with a pleading look. "Maggie, you know David would want us to have the house. You have your own place. Surely you won't take our home from Noah. The manipulation was clever, making me the villain. I'm as surprised as you are, Chloe, I said truthfully. I need time to process this. After the meeting, Mark asked me to stay. He handed me a sealed envelope. David left this for you. Read it alone. I took it with trembling hands. In my car, I opened it. David's familiar handwriting filled the page. Mom, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm so sorry. My marriage has been failing. I've discovered things about Chloe that make me fear for Noah's future. I've arranged things to protect you both. The house and money aren't for you, they're tools to ensure Noah has one stable, loving parent. Chloe will fight this. Don't let her know what you suspect. Watch and wait. Document everything. Mark has more evidence. I love you. You taught me to see people clearly. I'm counting on that now to protect my son. I pressed the letter to my chest, tears flowing. My son had been protecting us from beyond the grave. Now I knew my mission. Over the next few days, I moved into David's house, my house, now to care for Noah. Chloe was always dealing with paperwork. I knew she was consulting lawyers. Grandma, when is Dad coming back? Noah asked at breakfast one morning, his eyes full of a hope that shattered me. Oh, sweetheart, he can't come back. Remember, his body stopped working. I know, he mumbled, but I keep thinking he'll walk in and make Saturday pancakes. How about I make pancakes on Saturdays? I offered. They won't be the same, he said, then added, but I'd like that later. Chloe arrived, dressed in a sleek black pantsuit. Maggie, we need to talk about the future. She wanted me to transfer the house to her, claiming it was a mistake. For Noah's sake, she said, a fresh start in a new condo would be better for him. This house is full of memories. I played the part of the grieving, confused mother. I need time to think, I said. It's all so sudden. She pressured me, but I held firm. Grandma, Mom says I have to go to Las Vegas with her and Charles next weekend. But I don't want to. Noah told me at bedtime. I have a book report due. Las Vegas, with Charles. Red flags flew. I called Mark. She's planning a trip with Charles Montague, the real estate developer David was worried about. Mark said, I'm sending you a package. Be discreet. The next day, a courier delivered a sealed envelope. Inside were printouts of text messages between Chloe and CM from the last 6 months. They revealed an affair, plans to leave David, and discussions about money. Chloe referred to Noah as the complication. The most damning message was from 2 months ago. CM, how long? I'm ready when you are. Chloe, soon. David's name is on everything. Need to secure finances first. CM, the Dubai opportunity won't wait. Chloe, patience. Everything will fall into place. There were also photos from a private investigator, Chloe and Charles entering a hotel, intimate dinners, a handwritten note from David to Mark. Mark, enclosed is what I've found. Not sure what to do. Confronting her could mean losing Noah. Need to protect him, above all. Meet next Wednesday to discuss. David died on Monday. The meeting never happened. Armed with this, I faced Chloe about the Vegas trip. Noah mentioned Las Vegas. I said innocently, a short getaway. A distraction, she said. He's worried about his book report. David always stressed academics. A weekend off won't hurt, she countered. The school psychologist recommended new experiences. I suggested I keep Noah so he could work on his report. She refused. This is about mother-son bonding. I knew it was about her and Charles. After she left, I documented everything. When Noah returned from Vegas, he was withdrawn. Mom was on her phone the whole time. They left me with a hotel babysitter at night. I was scared. He missed his report deadline. Chloe didn't care. The patterns continued. Chloe missed parent-teacher conferences, forgot Noah's allergy medication, and was often out late. I documented each instance. Mark advised installing a home security system. I did, and it captured Chloe bringing Charles to the house late one night, both drinking, while Noah was supposed to be asleep. Chloe's neglect was consistent. One maintained my supportive facade. Maggie, we need to discuss the house, she said one evening. I've found a lovely condo. I've decided to move in here permanently, I said, for Noah's stability. Her face hardened. This house is too much for you. The mortgage, the upkeep. There is no mortgage, I said calmly. David owned it outright, and I'm more capable than I look. She recalculated me in that moment. Noah looked at me during homework. Grandma, are you going to live here instead of Mom? He'd overheard Chloe saying, I was trying to steal the house. I want you to stay, he said simply. You help me with homework and remember my medicine. His honesty fueled my resolve. I'm thinking of taking Noah to my sister in Florida for a few weeks. Chloe announced a month after David's death. A change of scenery, Florida, far and away. My alarm bells rang. I'd just told her Mark needed to meet about the estate. What about school? I asked. He can miss a few weeks. Kids are resilient. David's phrase, twisted dot. She invited me to dinner at an expensive restaurant, to talk without lawyers. Against Mark's advice, I went. But with a recorder. Over ridiculously priced scallops, she made her move. The will is a complication. We can avoid litigation if you transfer the house and assets to me. In exchange, I'll guarantee you visitation with no every other weekend, holidays. I'll put it in writing. She slid a document across the table. The audacity took my breath away. She was ransoming my grandson. I kept cool. I'll need to review this. Don't involve Mark, she said. My attorney says it's standard. I took the document. As I drove home, I called Mark. She offered me a deal. The house for visits with Noah. Perfect, he said. This is the evidence we need. It's time to file for emergency custody. We had everything. My journal, the security footage, the text messages, the psychological evaluation. Noah's school counselor reported his anxiety about moving, and now this coercive document. The petition was filed. Chloe was served. She called me, screaming, "You scheming witch. How dare you? You'll never see Noah again." I followed Mark's advice and didn't engage. The emergency hearing was swift. Judge Irwin, a no-nonsense woman, reviewed the evidence. Chloe's lawyer painted me as an interfering mother. I focused on Noah's well-being. The judge granted me temporary custody for 60 days, with supervised visitation for Chloe. Chloe's mask shattered in the courtroom. This isn't over, she hissed at me. But it was sooner than I thought. A week later, Chloe met me at a park. I'm dropping the case, she said flatly. Charles and I are moving to Dubai. His new project is there. I'm signing over full custody to you. I'll send support. Maybe Noah can visit someday. She wanted a clean break. No more legal battles. She was choosing her new life over her son. I agreed. The paperwork was signed. Chloe left for Dubai with Charles. Noah and I built a new life together. We planted a garden in David's memory. Do you think Dad knew Mom would leave? Noah asked once. I think he knew that some people choose what they want over what others need, I said, and he made sure you'd always have someone who put you first. Now, 3 years later, Noah is a thriving He just got the lead in the school play. Dad played this role too, he told me, smiling. He doesn't ask about Chloe much anymore. The support checks come, but no calls. Our house is a home, filled with love and stability. I found one last letter from David in a box Mark gave me. Mom, you did it. You protected my boy. Thank you. Tell him stories about Mitha, real ones. I love you both. And I do. Every day. From tragedy, we forged a beautiful, unexpected family. Love truly does have the final word. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever faced a battle for what's right, share your experience in the comments below. Your voice matters. And if you want to hear more stories of courage and resilience, subscribe to the channel. Stay with me, there are more truths to share.